The subject today is spin. That's right, spin. I'm Adonis King from All Xcast, and I want to welcome you to this little special report I'm doing on the spin. What is the spin today? Well, let's take a good look at something that's in the news. Today, I came on to find Alternate, which, of course, I read all media, folks. I don't take just the right. I don't take just the left. I like to see myself as a moderate. There is a study, apparently, that's come out that it says in Alternate, study confirms that Fox News makes you stupid. That's right, a new study of American voters shows that Fox News viewers are significantly more misinformed than consumers of news from other sources. It says, yet another study has been released proving that watching Fox News is detrimental to your intelligence. World Public Opinion, a project managed by the Program on International Policy Attitudes at the University of Maryland, conducted a study of American voters that shows that Fox News viewers are significantly more misinformed than consumers of news from other sources. So I'm going to play devil's advocate today for some of you who hate Fox. Personally, I try to remain unbiased. Let's take a look real quick and click over on who conducted the study. If you'll click along with me, if you go to this article, which is at Alternate, study confirms that Fox News makes you stupid. We click on the study and a box opens up. When we open up that box, we find that this is actually from an article that's at World Public Opinion, or WPO. Who runs the World Public Opinion Organization? Because you've got to check the facts, folks. You can't just, buy anybody, Alternate, all of these things. Go back and look at the facts, no matter which side it's on, right, left, middle, whatever. Let's click and find out who is involved in this World Public Opinion thing, huh? Oh my goodness. Well, look at that. Who could it be? Why, it's the infamous TIDES Foundation. If you're going to do a study, does it seem fair to come from a source that already has a beef with the Fox News network and with Glenn Beck in particular? And I want to point this out very vividly by going back a couple of months. Let me show you, first of all, this is from some news footage. I'm going to go to the left-right media. In fact, I actually am going to take you more into leftist media today. And show you how the left spins just like the right does. So those people who are on the left and say, hey, we don't spin anything, we're not spinny like you right-wingers. And by the way, I'm not a right-winger, I'm not a left-winger. I fly in the middle of the plane, I'm moderate. Okay, that means I see the points of both views, and I also see problems with both views. But let's go back, like I say, a couple of months to a guy by the name of Byron who did a little something. Let's take a look.
Violence is an unfortunate theme in the history of our politics, and now Media Matters is reporting that there's a link between a man arrested for firing on police in California in July who's admitted to plotting the assassination of leaders at the American Civil Liberties Union and the rhetoric of Glenn Beck. Now, the founder of Media Matters, David Brock, along with Michael Keegan, president of People for the American Way, are calling on Sarah Palin, who's been a huge supporter of Glenn Beck, to repudiate the Fox News host, to use one of Palin's invented words. Joining me now is David Brock, the founder of Media Matters for America. David, could you explain this connection between a contemplated assassination plot and Glenn Beck's rhetoric?
Sure, yeah. I mean, the concerns that we raised in the op-ed that you cited today, one, Glenn Beck incited an attempted assassination plot. Incited an attempted assassination plot.
Here's the Media Matters Minute. I'm Jess Levin. In addition to promoting conspiracy theories involving the TIDES Foundation and other progressive organizations, Glenn Beck has also pushed the envelope in violent rhetoric on his Fox News show. As California highway shooter Byron Williams put it,
Beck will never say anything about a conspiracy, will never advocate violence, he'll never do anything like of this nature, but he'll give you every ounce of evidence that you could possibly need.
here's the type of stuff Williams might have been listening to.
President Obama, why don't you just set us on fire? I can tell you there will be rivers of blood if we don't have values and principles.
There's only two ways for this movie to end. Either the economy becomes like The Walking Dead, or you drive a stake through the heart of the bloodsuckers.
They believe in communism. They believe and have called for revolution. you're going to have to shoot them in the head.
For these stories and more, visit MediaMatters.org.
There's a history here, as Elise said. You know, he has attempted to poison in effigy Nancy Pelosi on his set. That led to a death threat by a guy in San Francisco who threatened to burn her house down. That guy's mother said he gets all his ideas from Fox News. That guy's mother said he gets all his ideas from Fox News. And let me give you a personal one. Dick Morris is on the air every night on Fox News raising money for his political activities. One of his consultants, after Media Matters fact-checked one of their ads and found it false, tweeted that our staff should be curb-stomped. Okay? So there's a whole pattern here of what's going on. And I think the question is what to do about it. So I think this is how we get to Sarah Palin. Basically, Beck's erratic. He either won't or can't control himself even after he loses 100 advertisers. So you can't go there. Murdoch was asked at a shareholders conference a couple weeks ago about Beck, shareholder concerns about Beck. He said he doesn't agree with everything that goes on the Fox News channel, but he's standing with Beck. Ailes recruited Beck to do this, so he's standing with Beck. That leaves you with sponsors. So People 4 has backed up a TIDES Foundation call with Media Matters called Drop Fox to ask for advertisers to take responsibility for this. Told by a member of the Murdoch family that if you could affect the bottom line, you might get attention by the News Corp board. But the truth is, we can't wait for that. So Sarah Palin right now, in our view, needs to step up. She needs to step up because she's a leader of the Republican Party, of the conservative movement. She's a Tea Party favorite. She is the one person in this country right now, today, who, in the national interest, just in the moment, to put partisanship aside, could pull this country back from the precipice of another Oklahoma City. Back from the precipice of another Oklahoma City. And that's what a real leader does. That's what we're asking. As you know, Bill Buckley back in the 60s divorced the conservative movement from the John Birch Society, called it idiocy and paranoia. And so there's precedent for this. And Sarah Palin is a leader. We're now going to find out what kind of leader, what she's made of, and whether she's going to do it. And I'm telling you, we're going to find out. We published this piece this morning. We heard nothing today. I hope she's watching this show tonight. If we hear nothing in the morning, I am personally going to call Sarah Palin. I'm going to ask Michael Keegan of People 4 to join me on that call. And we are going to make a personal plea to her to stop this insanity. It has got to stop, as Elise said.
David, what you've just laid out sounds to me like an absolutely brilliant political strategy, political posture. David, what you've just laid out sounds to me like an absolutely brilliant political strategy, political posture for Sarah Palin to adopt at this moment in this kind of atmosphere. She would get so much credit for a move like that without, I think, costing her anything from her right-wing base.
I think that's right. Now, she's a Fox News contributor star. She's perfectly positioned. She's joined at the hip with Glenn Beck. We know she's done a few tweets, right, about resisting and reloading and all of that. But, now words have consequences, as Peter King, a Republican, had the guts to say last week. So she's on notice, and she needs to do the right thing.
All right, now let's take a look at the spin on this also from Democracy Now!
In media news, the founder and CEO of the TIDES Foundation has written to advertisers of Fox News, asking them to remove all their ads from the network or risk having blood on their hands. In July, a fan of Fox News broadcaster Glenn Beck was arrested for plotting to assassinate employees of the TIDES Foundation and the ACLU. The gunman, Byron Williams, admitted Beck's show inspired him to plot the attack. The gunman, Byron Williams, admitted Beck's show inspired him to plot the attack. For months, Beck has has railed against the Tides Foundation, accusing the San Francisco-based nonprofit of being part of a secret left-wing plot to take over the government. In his letter to advertisers on Fox News, Drummond Pike of the Tides Foundation wrote, quote, "The next assassin may succeed, and if so, there will be blood on many hands. The choice is yours. Please join my call to do the right thing in this regard and put Fox News at arm's length from your company by halting your advertising with them," unquote. Recipients of the letter include J.P. Morgan Chase, BP, Geico, Chrysler, and GlaxoSmithKline.
You know, I think that we should go and take a look at the entire interview that this was pulled from, shall we? Let's take a quick look.
Okay. But do you have evidence that George Soros was behind this explosion on the platform? Is this something that you suspect, or where does that come from?
What I have is circumstantial evidence, which is pretty hard to beat.
Okay.
And that is something that is in the letter that I wrote.
Okay, I'll look for it. But people like Glenn Beck don't believe that, correct?
You know what? I don't think Glenn Beck, being on television, is going to confess anything. You know, he's not too bright in that area. Like, he criticizes all the conspiracy theories. He criticizes people that believe in like 9/11 truthers. Any kind of, he puts them down. So basically, he puts me down. So there's a lot of things I disagree with him about.
Yeah, he's distanced himself from you. I mean, he's spoken about your case and saying that, look, I'm not a person that advocates violence, but your position is you understand that, correct? That he does not advocate violence.
Yeah, absolutely. He says it all the time.
Does not advocate violence.
Yeah, absolutely. He says it all the time. And I quite frankly disagree with that, because I don't think we're going to go anywhere with that system. It's the same system. The politics are always entrenched, and they always serve special interest groups and lobbyists. Mm-hmm. How are you going to get rid of that? How are you going to get rid of the influence of unions and the influence of corporations?
Mm-hmm. But again, you're not, people like Glenn Beck have said that they're concerned that people like you are hurting the cause. People like Glenn Beck have said that they're concerned that people like you are hurting the cause. Do you understand that, and how would you respond to that?
Yeah, I understand that. And initially, it probably will. But you got to also realize is that they're never going to stop. They're not going to stop attacking you. They're not going to stop attacking the people. And when it comes to the point where they can act and they can murder people with impunity without ever fearing retribution, you don't hear anything in the Associated Press about sabotage. You don't hear anything about investment in foreign oil while holding a moratorium on American oil. You don't hear these things because the news is silent.
But we talked before. You said you heard of the Tides Foundation before Glenn Beck even mentioned it. Is that correct?
I've already had all his information.
Before you said you heard of the Tides Foundation before Glenn Beck even mentioned it. Is that correct?
I've already had all his information that he used one or two of his programs. I already knew all of that stuff. And it was, to me, it was more of a confirmation of what I already knew.
Now, if it hadn't been for Fox News and some of these conservative talk shows, would you have done exactly what you did anyway, or planned to do anyway?
Well, it's the fact that the issue was shelved. I'm actually mad at Fox. I'm mad at them because they go on to something else. I'm actually mad at Fox. I'm mad at them because they go on to something else. It's like they drop the issue and it lands on a shelf somewhere to collect dust. And that's what's happening to the truth. It's going out and collecting dust. I say, you're not going to let these people get away with this stuff. You can't let it get away with it. So this was my action because of Fox's neglect. And, when all these issues that come up are just simply dropped and go back to collecting dust on the shelf, that's what gets me mad. It gets me mad. It's not, it wasn't what Fox said that made me mad. It was the fact that they dropped it. Me mad. It's not, It wasn't what Fox said that made me mad. It was the fact that they dropped it.
Mm.
Yeah. Right? So Glenn he's getting better, but he asks some really stupid things. He's getting better, but he asks some really stupid things. There is no one on television or anywhere that would say they advocate violence. Now, I can say it. I don't have a program. I don't even have a job. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm basically free to do whatever I wish.
Yeah, there's been a lot of talk in some of these blogs and right after what happened, and some people were essentially blaming Fox. I think your mother said something to the effect that you got stirred up by watching Fox News, etc. How would you address that?
Well, Fox News is my choice because it's conservative. Other news channels, I watch them too, like CNN I watch occasionally. Other news channels, I watch them too, like CNN I watch occasionally. HLN, Headline News, I watch them. And Channel 3 for local news.
Okay.
Right. So, but, I'm a news addict. So I don't just watch Fox, but I do enjoy Glenn Beck. And it's the reason why I enjoy that is because here's information that is, in my opinion, would be banned by J.P. Morgan's Associated Press. And as you can see, that no other channel will speak about the same things that he's talking about. And if you go and you investigate those things, you'll find out that they're true. And before we start condemning a person for speaking the truth, let's go and investigate it and find out if it's true first. The problem is most people are taking political sides, and that's why I wanted to change that term, liberal Californians to gullible Americans.